Welcome to Mike Dub 27 Trader, and today we're going to be looking at the stock market and how it's definitely booming today. So first, let's take a look at Lucid and see what was going on because we definitely saw some movement with Lucid Group. It actually broke back up to $2.50. It actually went higher than that. It went up to $2.52, which feels like a 52-day high dealing with Lucid. That's probably as good as it's going to get and is on its way back down to 230. But let's see what was going on to make it rally up the way that it did. All right, so we see from the Motley Fuel, here's why Lucid Group stock is a buy before May the 6th. So Lucid Group is expected to report earnings on May the 6th. There's a lot at stake. The company recently experienced some leadership changes. Let's go deeper into it. They got some leadership changes. The new CEO will need to provide important updates to the company's Gravity SUV sales trajectory, as well as updates on several new mass market vehicles under development. So people want to feel like they have some sort of focus or some sort of goal in mind that they think that they'll be at probably within the next 4 years, really within the next 2 years with the way this market is going. And all that before a critical quarter of Lucid Group, there are two reasons to consider buying shares before the announcement date arrives. All right. Following the launch of the Gravity SUV platform earlier this year, Lucid's revenue growth has picked up considerably. Analysts believe that the company could nearly double its sales base in 2025. It doesn't mean nothing if you can't create the vehicles, but we'll see. Compared to competitors like Tesla and Rivian Automotive, Lucid sales growth this year should be spectacular. And yet the company's valuation is the lowest it has been all year, largely due to the steep market correction experienced thus far in 2025. It is interesting because the market correction really has nothing to do with Lucid and everything to do with just the market. Like they actually did good on their last earnings, but that doesn't mean anything when you got billionaire, Tesla cronies buying Lucid and shorting it, just to keep the stock down. But right now, Lucid shares look like a bargain compared to other EV manufacturers. Growth estimates are so high that share trades at just 4.7 times forward sales. This comes at a time when analysts expect 85.8% sales growth in 2025. Like I said, that means nothing if you can't provide the vehicles. With another 86.4% growth expected in 2026. Plus, the company is expected to start production on three new mass market vehicles next year, all of which are expected to be priced under 50,000. These more affordable models should provide yet another growth inflection point for Lucid in 2027 and beyond. Put simply, Lucid stock is a bargain right now for long-term investors. And I can see that, looking at Lucid and everything, it is a bargain right now, only being $2.50. But it's like for how long, you know? All right, let's look at the market cap. The market cap is 7.56 billion, right? All right, now let's just look at Rivian, which hasn't been out that longer than Lucid. And it's double the market cap, 14.27 billion. And it's been around since 2009. Let's see how long Lucid's been around. Lucid's been around since 2007. So Lucid is actually older than Rivian. So obviously, right there, there's a difference. Now Rivian has Lucid has 6,800 employees. That's how many employees Rivian has. That's 6,800. Rivian has 14,861. So they got over double the employees. So they're just winning either way when you actually compare them to Lucid. But Rivian only makes a truck. They make a good truck, which is why people like it and everything, and why the stock is doing what it's doing right here, constantly going up. But all they do is make a truck. And maybe that's something that Lucid should take notes from. Instead of trying to make all these vehicles, make one good thing and then mass produce it. Maybe you didn't need to come out with the SUV before you had the Lucid Air or the Lucid Dark in everybody's neighborhood. I'm just saying. But anyhow, let's look at some stocks that actually do make money. One that I looked at earlier today was CMB.Tech. It's still doing its thing. It went up today. Let's see how much it went up today. It started off at 3.75% and then ended the day at 4.15%. I definitely took some profit from that. Once again, CNB.Tech, Nevada engages in ocean transportation and storage of crude oil. So they're in the oil business. I like them because it got that 70% dividend yield. I'm sticking with it. This is one of those where whenever it goes up, I just take my profit off the top, but I'm keeping the money inside of CNB.Tech because it's definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's go back to that matter of fact. Because you think a 70% dividend yield that this would be probably a dangerous stock to be in, right? Right now, it's at $9.16. At one point in time, it was at $21.08. So I caught it at the bottom. Like I said, but this is one of those where you really just got to make sure you're aware of when the earnings report comes. The earnings report is in May the 7th. So come May the 6th, I'll probably take I have to do some homework on it because I don't want this thing going down to $5 while I'm still in it. To be honest with you, I will probably take my money out on the 6th, see what it does. If it actually passes the earnings report, I'll just jump back in, on the 8th and just ride the wave. And we'll see how that goes. Another one, and this, of course, is an oldie but goodie, the JP Morgan Exchange. This one did its thing today. Ended today 0.20% or 0.2%, above where it started. But once again, we're talking about a stock that has an 11.43 30-day dividend yield. That's 11.33, $11.43. And it stays where it's at because it's JP Morgan. So this is one of those, it doesn't move up a lot, but when it does, I take my little bit of dollars off of the top. But it's JP Morgan, it's going to do what it's going to do. I'm just going to keep pumping this up. My goal with this one, just because it is JP Morgan, I want to get this up to at least about 10 grand. That's my goal for JP Morgan alone, and just let the money make the money. And then, of course, there's the bit mining. Now, this is I don't know, why am I still in this? I need to sell this whole thing. I have to wait till it goes back up again. It actually hit $2.06, but I was busy doing something else. This is a day trader. It doesn't have any dividend yields or anything like that, but it stays going between like 190 and like $2. So you got 10 cents you can play with right here. But I got busy doing something else, so I'm just gonna wait till it goes back up to $2 again Monday, and I go ahead and um, cash that out, and then of course get right back in once it drops back down to 190. This is it's actually rising. It hit a low of 134, but like I said before, you go back to January, it's at 290, and it looks like it's headed back that direction. You go back 1 year, it was $3.45. You go back 5 years, this thing was at $260. You know, this is one of those though. It moves with crypto. So when crypto's doing good, this is doing good. When crypto's falling, this is falling. I'm just glad I caught it when it was low. So there's a lot of potential there. But yeah, those are some stocks you can actually make some money with outside of Lucid. But it is what it is. I'll catch y'all later. This is Mike Dub, 27 day trader. Keep trading. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to follow. And I'm out. Deuces.